Williams, who's their Louisville's best player. He dropped 15 points and 10 rebounds in their last game, double-double performance. Obviously he's probably going to be quite a challenge for you guys. So what are you guys going to have to do to, on the defensive side of things to maintain players like him?
Well, I mean, he's a load. He's their, kind of fifth, 6-year player now. He didn't need an injury, so he's kind of heart and soul of their team. He gives them so much in the middle of that lane. I think he's a guy that they're always trying to go to. I think he's one guy they really depend on because he's been in that system. He understands what Mike wants. He's a skilled enough player. He can score lots of ways, steps out and makes the three. So he's a really good player on a really good team.
I want to jump in here with Fred's question. Can't hear, but he just wants to know about the impact of this game now on CBS and especially in light of the storms.
Okay. Hey, Drew, did I finish your question? Got it. Fred, well, it's a big game. Number one, because it's the next one happens to be against in-state Louisville, who's, one of the top teams in the country year in, year out. So not many, you don't get a lot of opportunities to get them on your home court. So that's always good. It'll be a national, televised game. There's not ESPN, but CBS. That's always special. And to have it during this time right now when there's, so much, turmoil and destruction and things in Bowling Green, it'll bring Bowling Green a lot of different kind of attention. May bring this state, just not Bowling Green, but this state, some extra funding and help across the nation when they see pictures of things. So there's a lot of positive things coming out here besides just basketball. And I've said this many a time. And we're going to play a basketball game tomorrow at 2:00. Let's be real. In the real world, it's a game. It's called a game. And it takes things like what's happened in this state in Bowling Green to make you understand, what the real world is and what reality is. I mean, reality is right now, and drive to work every morning, seeing these houses and seeing the destruction in these neighborhoods. Not even to talk about the loss of lives, what these families are going through right now. That's the real world.
Hey, Coach, just speak about how it felt not being in the area. You're in Atlanta during the tornado. Were you getting updates throughout the whole thing? And just speak about how that was.
Nick didn't even know anything about it until it was about, the first thing I knew anything about any kind of bad weather at all, or any kind of weather, wasn't any bad. My son, we left my youngest son behind, who's a junior in high school. He had a game, but my wife had went to Atlanta with us. So we had texted him. My wife had seen the game that got canceled, and we texted him at 9:00 or so. And I said, "You got bad weather?" I think they were going to be at Muhlenberg County. He said, no, weather wasn't bad. Just the game got canceled because of some bad weather somewhere. Really didn't think nothing about it. Woke up at 4:00 just to wake up and happened to have the TV on. And it was already national news in Atlanta at 4:00, which would have been 3:00 Kentucky time, showing pictures of Mayfield and talking about Bowling Green. There wasn't a lot of pictures at that point. It wasn't very long after that, you start getting text. And by the next morning, just trying to figure out what was going on. Couldn't get in touch with her son. We had a couple players who had wives right here in this neighborhood. Luke with his wife, Brandon, couldn't get in touch with her. So there was just a little bit of, what's going on in Bowling Green. Then the pictures started rolling in, 8 or 9 o'clock. You can see just the destruction and, how much Bowling Green was destroyed. And, again, you still really don't realize it all. we get back at night at midnight or at 3 o'clock in the morning, Saturday night in the morning, have to drive by, but you couldn't really see it still. You could see trees laying everywhere, but you really couldn't see the destruction of it all until it was Sunday when we get up and drive back into the office and start driving around places you can get into, that you really start realizing how bad it is. And now you're hearing about all the laws of lives, and the drone pictures now are coming in different than a lot of people get. So, to answer your question, were we glad we were in Atlanta? I don't know. Naturally, we're all happy that we weren't around and to be a part of it and anybody get hurt. But, is there anything we could have done being back around here? Probably not. It happens in the middle of the night. It's probably good that our guys were away. You never know what could have happened. Could a guy been at a store somewhere? Could a guy been trying to get something to eat late at night? So, but we were all fortunate, and all of our players, family members were fortunate and blessed too.
And Coach, just kind of going off of what you just said about, the Bowling Green storms and tornadoes, with Center College's game being kind of, in support of so many of those that were, affected by the storms, how important is it for you guys to have a big crowd come out tomorrow?
Well, it's always important, no matter if anything was going on in our town. Drew, when Diddle Arena's full, which it has been before, the virus hit, it was as good as atmosphere there is in America. Now you put everything else, back in perspective here, what's going on. We got Louisville coming in. We got the tornado damage. I think it's something that the excitement of the game being Louisville. And I know Mac and the Louisville team and their little communities doing some positive things. They're bringing some toys down. So, give Louisville a shout out and Coach Mack for arranging that. That's a good thing. So everybody's going to benefit from this game one way or the other. Hopefully, there's some excitement that people can forget about what's going on. Extra national fundraising, maybe from seeing it on CBS, people who want to donate. I'm sure there'll be a line that you can donate to. And again, just the game itself. The excitement of the game itself, getting people's minds off of tornadoes for a couple of hours. Michael, you ain't asked a question yet.
Anybody else got questions?
Hey, Fred, I didn't answer your question. What are the unique challenges that Louisville presents, and what are some of the strengths that combat that? Well, they're, as you well know, they're a really good team. In spite they lose a game here or there, you basically have Mississippi State down 30 points. You go to North Carolina State and win, and not many teams can do that. Not having Mac early, team played well, but again, getting him back, I'm sure there's adjustments he wants to make, so it takes a little bit of time too. So, they've got really good guard play in West. He's a veteran guy. We're very familiar with him. Guy can shoot it, but he really seems to take on a leadership role in that team, running that team. Locke was one of the better shooters in the country for Florida. Can really shoot the ball for them. And, Davis, Weathers are experienced guys to go along with a guy like Cross, who comes in, is very versatile. A guy can shoot it and dribbles, handles, and passes it, and got some toughness about him. And, I got two big guys on the inside. Williams is like I said, I think he's a 6-year guy, and big young guy in Wheeler. So they got a lot of really good players. And on any day, they can be as good as anybody in the country. What can we combat that with? Hey, you hope you combat it with a little bit of not them being at their best. And as always, Fred, this is for any team. You need to make some shots. You got to jump up and make some shots somewhere along the way. Defensively, I know they'll pull our big guy away from the basket in Williams because he can shoot the basketball. So that's a challenge for us too. So they present a lot of different issues and problems for us.
Hey, Rick, not every team will come down to Diddle and play you guys or sign a 4-year contract to play you guys. How much appreciation do you have for Mac and Louisville for doing that?
Well, Mac, hey, Rick, first off, I appreciate your tweet yesterday afternoon. You're one of the few guys that probably would tweet that out. Appreciate that. You know where that was meant, where that tweet was going. I think it says a lot about Louisville. You know, I think it started as a football deal, but even at that, we can't get many people in a football deal tied up in a basketball deal. Happened with Wisconsin, I think, and it happened with Arkansas. So, you know, those two outcomes were very good for us, and for Louisville to do it as an in-state team, you know, says a lot about them. We appreciate them doing that because, hey, I know Louisville looks at us and, you know, got nothing to gain by playing Western Kentucky. I get that. We all understand that. I don't have to hide that. You know, at the same time, you know, I think it's great for this state. You know, with all the different things that have gone over the last several years across the country in this state, for all these in-state teams to continue to play each other. I think it would be great that, you know, we could figure out ways to do this every year, you know, and add Kentucky in the mix. I know we got Kentucky in the Louisville deal right now. So, but I get it. You know, I get it where, you know, they feel like there's nothing to gain of playing Western Kentucky, and, you know, they're supposed to win. And when they don't win, you know, there's nothing to gain from that. And, you know, for the most part, you know, I think we're able to compete. You know, we're able to compete with those teams. And but again, we appreciate you know, Louisville, their AD, and Mac willingness to play this game. Rick.
Anybody have anything else for Coach?
Michael, do you ask a question?
I did not, but everything that other people asked was things I was going to ask, so I'm good.
All right, we good. Hey, Rick, you coming down tomorrow?